Hello and welcome to the first in a series of Nefolo video use cases. My name's Adam Chamberlain, I'm the founder and managing director, and I wanted to put these together to show the real world challenges we're addressing and the questions that we're answering for our customers by taking you through some of these examples. So as we can see there, quite often the questions that we get asked and the challenges we address actually maybe span a couple of roles. And the first of these is going to be a topic that is hot on everyone's agenda, which is all about how do we make sure we're not spending any more than we need to, we're being efficient with what we do spend, we're reducing our OPEX budget as far as we possibly can. So these are meant to be quite short, sharp and informative, so let's get into this first one. So the first thing to do is head on over and log into the portal to view the reporting dashboards. I was going to do a video to show how quick and easy it is to deploy the solution, but really it would take longer to introduce the video than demonstrate that. So please just bear in mind that, it's a couple of clicks and a minute or so to go and connect and get reporting for your particular environment. So when we're looking to make some savings, we're going to answer a few questions, which is where are we not using what's been purchased? You may already have an idea of what you're purchasing because there's going to be some sanctions usage and you know what you've got, but it's still worthwhile checking that list against your invoice recipients here to find out where are you actually getting invoices from and spending money on, because there is quite often going to be some things that you don't know about here, and it's not unusual to find someone or a department that might be purchasing a tool on the side for something that you've already got a license for or a corporate subscription to. So it's very worthwhile just checking down this list. You can export it if you need to up here. Go and export it out and check it offline if that's more convenient. But go and make sure that you've got a complete view of what you're purchasing. If you do find something that is a little bit of an anomaly and you want to say, what is that invoice for? Why is that going to that person? All of these are, whilst it's anonymized, all of these are hyperlinks, so you can click the hyperlink, fire up an email to the individual and say, hey, could you send me a copy? I'm doing an audit. I just want to make sure it looks like you've got an invoice. Could I see it, please? So gather that list of everything that you've got and how many licenses you are paying for. And then once you've got that, you can use the active usage donut over here in the middle to understand, are you actually using all of those licenses that you're buying? Because quite often it's not unusual to be buying 400 but using 200. So there's an immediate way you can start to go and claw back on some of that usage and some of that spend if you're not using it. Or indeed, if you find someone that is buying something that you already have a license for, you can close down the additional purchasing channel and make the saving there. You can also view the usage over time and see how things have been growing. And this is a good spot to identify maybe where things are all of a sudden spiking up and growing outside of the norm. This can indicate a few different things. It can indicate that something actually has been sort of pushed for a wider rollout and is now being more widely consumed, or it can indicate someone has gone and said, oh, I want to buy that, and they're now purchasing it and using it within a department, without you necessarily knowing about it. So it's quite a nice place to come and check that down here. Of course, if you want to get a list of your users, you can click on any of these and say, right, who are my Monday.com users? And it will filter out and show you any new users this month, where your invoices are going to for Monday.com, and it will give you a complete user report. Again, it's real data, but it's anonymized. So you do sometimes see some strange behavior. It won't report all 145 users here because it thinks that they're all the same user. So it just gives you one line, but just bear in mind that you would obviously see that complete list. And again, you can export it if you want to. That's a great way to go and check that you are indeed using everything that you're buying and you know about everything that you're buying. So that's the first area. The next area is quite simply just go and look to see where you're not cancelling down what is no longer being used. And the most obvious place to do this is where someone leaves the business and they leave behind them a trail of SaaS usage, sometimes known about, sometimes not, but it gives you a really good hit list to go and tackle all of the things that you could be cancelling down and making a saving on. And we tackle this with the orphan SaaS list down here. You will see all of the users and the tools that they leave behind. So you can go through this and make sure you're cancelling it down if it's not being used any longer. We very often find that we pay for ourselves in the first few weeks just by identifying the licenses that can be cancelled down. We don't have to find a lot. A couple of Salesforce licenses, an Adobe license here, and we are already returning on our investment. So yeah, great spot to go and cancel down unnecessary spend. And the last area is where are you crossing over functionality? Lots of tools have this crossover where they can all do similar jobs, and it's not unusual to find several tools in use and performing slightly different tasks, but could all be consolidated down to one tool. Certain things kind of cross over a bit more. Sales and customer service tools and telephony, like video conferencing, there's often a lot more crossover in that space. But it's often much cheaper to purchase an additional option in a tool that you've already got rather than going and deploying a whole new tool. And obviously a whole new tool is more complicated because you've got to get people up to speed and understand that tool. You need to secure it and make sure it's integrated with single sign-on and multi-factor. You need to make sure it's security reviewed. You need to be conscious of what data you're putting into it. There's a whole stream of reasons over and above it just being less cost effective. But if we are looking at how do we go and save some money immediately, let's go and look at where we're using more tools than we need, and we should just be using the inbuilt functionality in the tool that we've chosen. So if we want to see this, all of these are filterable, so we can click on the sales and customer service and view all the usage for the sales and customer service tools that we've got in place. Again, anonymized data, sample data, so it tends to represent a bit more crossover than you would normally see, but it is very normal for Salesforce and Gong and HubSpot and Pipedrive all to be in use within a single business. And obviously those tools can all perform very similar functionality. So this is a good way to go and say, right, what is our recognized tool? Okay, it might be Salesforce. How do we stop the Gong, stop HubSpot, stop Pipedrive, and start cancelling down those subscriptions to allow us to save money? And it really is as simple as that. Obviously, if we want to go and see, we click on HubSpot and then we get our user report. Again, it would be more users if we were in the real version and it wasn't anonymized, but we can start going through cancelling down. Also, click Salesforce. We can see who has cancelled Salesforce in the last recently because they've left, so we can go and cancel those down. So there you go, that is it. Just a few minutes to show you three clever ways that we can go and help save money on the as a service technology subscriptions in your business. If you'd like any information, please do get in touch via the website, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.